Hey guys, it's Editing Me, and boy oh boy do I have a little bit of a treat for you today. I was too lazy to upload these reviews separately, and so I just decided to do a science fiction double feature of both my exclamation of the entire series of Twilight and my review on it, and also my review on the new Suicide Squad movie. Please enjoy and be nice to me in the comments. I worked really hard on this video. Younger me was definitely going with the crowd on this one. Because most people hated Twilight, I just thought I'd agree with them, and then I wouldn't get witch hunted. Even though I had never seen the movies. Now look at me. I've seen all of the movies. And I regretted every second of it. Well. Kinda. Alright. This video is about Twilight. I had a really dumb intro the first take of this video. Let's just get into it. You want to hear my thoughts, you want to hear my opinions, and you mostly want to hear my poor exclamation on the entire plot of all 5 movies. Let's get it. Okay. Twilight 1, 2008. Okay. Picture this. You're Bella Swan, right? You're 17 years old. You just moved to Forks, which I think is in, Washington or something. I don't know. I had to Google it, forever ago, because in my original video I said it was in, Missouri or something. Turns out, no, it's in Washington. Okay, picture this. 17, Washington. Okay. You just moved from, I think it was Phoenix. Something like that. Some very hot place to a warm, damp place, right? You're the new kid, talk of the town, all right? You make friends with these little geeks and weirdos, which one of them consists to be Anna Kendrick, so bonus points. And in that little group, you are told about the Cullens, just a weirdo family who is questionably incestuous with each other. So, and there's this one guy, he's just like a brown-haired, brown-eyed piece of shit, and he keeps staring at you, prolonged eye contact, prolonged eye contact, prolonged eye contact, prolonged eye contact, you know? And you're like, okay, weird. Turns out, you have that kid for biology. You're fucked. The minute you walk into the room, he starts having a stroke. He's, covering his mouth, he's, looking away from you, and you're like, okay, do I smell, or what? You know, and then he ends up leaving the room. You catch him trying to change classes. Alright? After that little extravaganza, you almost get hit by a car. Alright? And that's how Ewan, you'd come to meet Edward, the guy who keeps staring at you and had a stroke while, when you walked into a room. And then you meet his weird family, which consists of Jasper, Alice, the blonde bitch, Emmett, Carlisle, and the brunette bitch. You fall in love with Edward, alright? And then, oh no, turns out Edward's a vampire. And so is his whole family. And he's like, are you scared? And she's like, no. So, then you two start dating, right? Start hanging around each other. You two, pretty much, like 2 peas in a pod, you are inseparable, attached at the hip, if you will. Then, happily ever after, right? Moving to the second film, New Moon, okay? New Moon, okay. Edward tells you, hey, I'm about to be found out by the entire town, because of my stupid dad, Carlisle. So, we have to leave and go to Alaska. And you, Bella Swan, is like, oh no, I can't do that. I have to go tell Charlie, which is your dad. And Edward goes, no, you don't have to tell him because you're not coming with. And, you and Edward at this point had been pretty much, again, attached at the hip. You know everything about each other. He watches you while you sleep. He practically gaslights you sometimes. And you're just distraught by this. So distraught that you go into, like, pretty much a year-long depression, right? And so you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do with my life? Because you keep having night terrors, your dad's getting concerned, and your dad's just like, hey, go outside, okay? And you were like, oh, I was already planning on it, or whatever. Fuck you, Dad. You go to a movie with your friend Ada Kendrick, where she won't stop talking about zombies and leprosy. So, and you meet up with these biker gang, which Edward saved you from in, like, the first movie. That's another one that I forgot about. Because the only thing it really does is add the strength of Bella's and Edward's relationship. So what's the point in even bringing it up? So, you're like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to them. And Anna's like, oh, fuck no, you're not, bitch. You are coming with me. And you're like, no, fuck you, bitch. And you meet up with one of the biker dudes, drive around for a bit. You get all panicked because you start seeing Edward everywhere. And he's like telling you to stop what you're doing, pull over, that kind of thing. And so you get so freaked out that you yell at the motorcyclist to stop. You get off the motorcycle, you run back to Anna Kendrick. She's practically yelling at you for being stupid. But you're like, I just saw Edward again. And then that's when you realize, oh shit, that's when I can, see Edward, which is through bouts of adrenaline. Alright? And your dad's like, hey, why don't you talk to Jacob since that whole Anna Kendrick thing didn't work out? And you're like, okay. So you start talking to Jacob more. You two, fast friends. You two are just like Biff's best friends for life, alright? Then one of the snobby boys from your group is like, hey, do you want to go out on a date? And you're like, sure. You bring your friend Jacob along, just for safety, because motherfucker's built like a tank. So, he's built like a tank. Moving on, you go to the movie. Turns out, Mr. Pukey Pants over here fucking pukes everywhere, because he's gross. And, this is when you start getting glimpses of Jacob's nice guy-ness, which I'll get into. It becomes more extreme in the later movies. Jacob's like, yo, Pukey Pants, fuck off, you ugly ass bitch. And he's like, yo, what's your fucking issue? And then Jacob storms off, right? You're kind of weirded out by this. Like, motherfucker just left our date. Okay, whatever. You don't hear from him for, like, months on end after that. Because apparently he has, like, I don't know, Link's disease or something. So, and you keep, like, texting him and calling him, being like, Jacob, what the fuck is going on? I keep wanting to say Edward. Hey, Jacob, what the fuck is going on? And finally, you're just so sick and tired of this shit, you just go to his house, right? He's sitting in his backyard, it's raining, he's shirtless for some reason, and he turns around and sees you, and you're like, yo, what the fuck, Jacob? You haven't texted me, you haven't called me, you haven't done nothing for the past months, and you look fine. What's going on? And Jacob's like, oh, it's complicated. I don't know if you'd understand. She's like, you've been my only friend, and yet you don't fucking talk to me. What the fuck is going on? And then he just kind of is like, Bella, you still wouldn't understand. And then he kind of fucks off and leaves with his little...
I roll with a crew of problematic bachelors, and we call ourselves the Squad.
Which consists of Sam. Sam is important because Jacob had already, in, like, a previous movie, discussed how much he didn't really like Sam because he thought his whole friend group was a weird cult. Turns out, oh no, Jacob is a werewolf. Oh no, that's bad. Then, you've been emailing Alice for, like, months now, because it's one of the only things that also helps you get out of your bout of depression, which, kind of fruity to me, but, like, okay, we'll move on. Turns out, Alice comes to your house. She's like, I thought you were dead. And because, oh my god, me and forgetting events that happened. So, in order to, that bout of adrenaline I kept mentioning earlier? Yeah, that comes back because Bella thinks it's a brilliant idea to go cliff diving. And, I don't know, almost dies, but is saved by Jacob. So, Alice is like, I thought you were dead. Bella's like, nah, I ain't dead. And, Alice is like, but I saw you die. and I may or may not have told Edward that you were dead. And you're like, oh shit, what do I do? And she's like, go to this place in Italy where the Valtori will be there, and he'll try to expose himself for being a vampire, and then the Volturi will kill him. So they go to a nice little day trip in Italy. It's supposedly in Italy. It's very green, and the architecture screams Italy. So that, or it screams like some type of Rome. I don't know. I have hot chocolate here. Yes, I'm aware it's summer. So you get there, you see Edward. He's about to take off his shirt and reveal his weird glistening skin, because apparently this is an interview with a vampire. Every time I think about vampires going into sunlight, I think about them, like, I don't know, burning to death. Like, you know, in Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they open the Ark for the first time and then their skin starts melting. Yeah, that's what I picture every time. Like, vampires are like, they melt in sunlight or they burn in sunlight. I just imagine their skin just melts. Like, they're like a little candle. So, that happens, right? And you see Edward, and you run through a fountain, and you tackle him, practically. And Edward thinks, oh, I've died and gone to heaven. Because, you know, he still thinks Bella's dead, right? And Bella's like, no, I'm fine, I'm alive, you're alive. So, in the Valtori...
I roll with a crew of problematic bachelors, and we call ourselves the Squad.
Because Bella's human, still is like, we smell human, come with us, alright? And Alice is there too, because, you know, she had I don't know, I assume that Bella doesn't have her license or whatever, because you have to be like 18 or, I don't know, I've never been to Forks. Any hoosies. So, get in there, and you meet the three Valtori, who I lovingly refer to as Michael Sheen is hot, Jonathan, and I will explain their names now. Michael Sheen is hot. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Michael Sheen is hot in this film. 2, Jonathan. One of the actors played Jonathan. The actor who plays the vampire also played Jonathan in the 2007 film Sweeney Todd, The Demonic Barber on Fleet Street. And in that movie, he played Jonathan, the guy who was obsessed with Joanna. You know, the guy that wasn't the judge, right? If you've watched the film, you know what I'm talking about. Or have experienced the play, or musical, or whatever you want to refer to it as. So, and then the other one, I don't remember his name. Pretty boring. He's kind of there. Alright. So, the Valtori are like, so we've heard so much about you. You must be Bella. And she's like, yeah, I'm Bella. And so, Bella's, you know, Arrow, aka Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen is hot, grabs her hand, right? And his magical power is that he can read people's memories, but only when he's touching their hands. Which, that would suck to be him and meet me. I notoriously have clammy hands. It's disgusting. Like, I have done everything in my power to get rid of it. It is so hard. I cannot do it. So, I have clammy hand syndrome. Yeah, it must be real fun holding my hand. Anyways. So, the funny thing is he can't read nothing. In her little brain of hers, can't read nothing. And Michael Sheen is hot, goes, okay, interesting. I can't read any of your thoughts. Okay. Hey, Edward, just because you tried to kill yourself in front of our building, we now have to murder you. So, sorry. No, wait, that's not what happened. I'm a liar. Michael Sheen is hot, goes, because I can't read your memory, that means you have powers. Let's see if you're resistant to any of our other ones, which leads into this big battle with Edward and this girl named Jane, who's played by Dakota Fanning. She becomes important later because it leads to one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in my life. So it leads into this big battle, and Bella ends up screaming, don't kill him, kill me. Michael Sheen is hot, goes, okay, maybe we will. I don't know. We'll think about it. Get out of our sights. And then they kind of fuck off and leave. Eclipse. Let's talk about Eclipse. I don't remember anything from Eclipse other than Jasper's a country boy and battle scars. I remember nothing else from that film. Newborns, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Go watch it. I don't remember anything. Something with Victoria. I don't know. Jasper's a cowboy, though. Jasper's cool as fuck. Anyways, Jasper, Team Jasper for life. Excuse me. Breaking Dawn Part 1. Let's go into Breaking Dawn Part 1. Okay. This one's pretty easy. It's like 90 Day Fiancé meets, the only body horror movie I know is The Fly. So, it's not even body horror, it's just like gross. Gross. It's a gross film, it's gross. So, it's the royal wedding meets The Fly. Okay. Let me explain. It's 2 a.m. as I'm recording, editing this video. I'm not gonna make you suffer through my explanation of Breaking Dawn Part 1, or the rest of it. So, here's just Breaking Dawn Part 2. You're welcome. And, as they're getting ready for practically the funeral, she all of a sudden comes alive, right? And in the book, she fucking does a backflip. I don't know why that wasn't in the movie. I don't know, I looked at, a comparison online. She did a backflip. I don't know why they didn't do a backflip. Could have gotten a stunt double. I don't know. I'm just saying. So, she's backflipping. She's like, I'm fine. Where's my baby? So, okay. For reference, we're in, the second movie now. Because, Bella's still alive. She's fine now. So, whoop-dee-scoopity-doo. Turns out, while Bella was out, I just thought I'd mention this real quick. While Bella was out, what I'm about to tell you is the most absurd shit I've ever seen and heard in my whole life. Jacob falls in love with the baby who is referred to as Renesmee. It was going to be EJ if it was a girl, or a boy, sorry. If it was a boy, it was going to be EJ for Edward and Jacob. I don't know why it's Renesmee. Someone told me. I don't remember. So, which he doesn't tell Bella for obvious fucking reasons. Which I have to explain imprinting. So it's basically when it's like marriage, basically. In the most simplest form, it's both falling in love and being married. I don't know how else to explain it. You can Google it. I don't know. So, Bella's back. She's fine. All right? She gets to hold her baby. And Jacob starts becoming weirdly protective. All right? She's like, yo, Jacob, what the fuck? And Jacob's like, well, for one, it's a wolf thing. For two, she's like, I don't need to hear any more shit. She practically grabs the back of his neck and, throws him outside, which leads to the best scene in the entire film. Which, if you look up Twilight Breaking Dawn, You Imprinted on My Daughter, or just Twilight, You Imprinted on My Daughter, you can just watch the scene for yourself. Or I'll put it up on screen now. I don't know if this is going to be my Gotham video or not. So, it's one of my favorite scenes because I think it's so over the top and ridiculous and hilarious. So, after that happens and her nearly killing one of Jacob's wolf brethren, whose name is Seth, she calms down, right? Then by this point, Jasper and Alice kind of fuck off to go do their own thing, but they leave a note. And it's basically this big cryptic note saying that, hey, the Vulture know about your child, so, yeah, you're gonna have to figure that out. And they're like, fuck, what are we gonna do? And Carlisle, being the smart bitch that he is, he's like, we have to battle them and, discuss, civilized vampires that we are, and wolves, about why this is okay. Basically, this is a middle school debate team. So, they gather up anyone who's associated with any of the Cullens, literally, from fucking people who were friends with, who got turned by Edward, who got turned by Carlisle, who got turned by a fucking blonde bitch, who got anyone associated with anybody in the Cullen family. They pull them all along. Which includes Rami Malek, which I didn't know he was in that film. Or any of the films to begin with. Which is dope as hell. And then the only one that's worth note, other than Rami Malek, is Garrett, who looks like a knockoff Klaus Hargreaves from Umbrella Academy, and that's why I find him hot. Anyways, so they meet up with the Valtori on this giant ass, I don't know, frozen lake, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it's entirely flat and covered in snow. And the Valtori are like, yo, we know about your weird demon child. We have to kill it. Because according to vampire lore, the younger a vampire starts out, the more hard it is to control them. So, like, if you did, like, let's say, like, a 4-year-old, yeah, one temper tantrum can lead into the entire destruction of the Chinese government. So, whoopsie doodles, I guess. And they're like, we have to kill this child. Which leads to, a flashback where Dakota Fanning throws a toddler into a fire. I wish I could make that shit up. That's a real scene. It's ridiculous. Anyways, the Valtori are like, yeah, this is a demon child. Then Jasper and Alice show up, and Alice is like, hey, yo, you know what? Anything that I say to you, you're not going to believe me. Which ends up leading into this big epic battle. People fucking die. Everyone fucking dies. Carlisle dies. Jasper dies. Michael Sheen is hot dies. Everybody dies. Pretty much everybody. Except for Nesme and Jacob, they're fine. Because they ended up fucking off and leaving. So, turns out, oh no, that was a fabrication within Alice's mind showing to Arrow, Michael Sheen is hot, saying that this is what could have happened if you let this go on any longer. And he's like, well, I'm just sticking to the books. Then they pull out, like, an actual, like, half vampire, half human person who is a perfectly well-adjusted man with a mom and everything. He's got the whole kit and caboodle. And he's like, yeah, I turned out fine. And the Valtori are like, okay, if you say so. And then they fuck off. And end movie. I have died every day waiting for you. It's the end of the fucking movie. And the end of the series, frankly. That is the most saddest, not sad as in, like, sad as in disappointing sad. Like, imagine being, like, 13 when the movies come out. Like, the last movie came out. Imagine being, like, 13. Fuck. That was the most disappointing ending you could have ever seen. The whole battle, fun fact, would have differed from the book. In the book, that didn't happen. It would have been so much cooler if there was you can look up actual theater reactions to Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. And you can hear how disappointed the audience was after that. So, that was me describing the entire events of Twilight. Now you guys want to hear my opinions. Okay. Alright. Let's start off with how I feel about Twilight as a franchise. And how it is today. Twilight... How do I say this better? Twilight is similar to watching a car crash, right? Like, it's a horrible experience filled with bad acting, weird camera angles, weird differentiations from the book, weird followings to the book, and yet you still enjoy it, and you're still sitting there and going, like, you can't look away. And, like, you get invested in it. Like, literally, how I started off for, like, the first 2 movies, I was like, this is stupid, this is all stupid, because I grew up in the era where Twilight being bad was the norm, and if you thought Twilight was bad, you were a part of the majority, and you weren't called a teenage girl. So, and when I was, like, 5, being called a teenage girl was, like, the worst thing ever. So, And now, I think that because cringe culture is practically dead, it's much more accepted to unironically enjoy Twilight, but you can still acknowledge the fact that, hey, maybe it's a little weird that Edward gaslit Bella after that whole almost dying because of a car thing, and him using his weird superhuman strength to stop the car. Yeah, that's a little weird. Okay. But, yeah. It's so strange. It's like being in a car crash and simultaneously watching a car crash. Because I compare it to being in a car crash. I've never been in one, by the way, but I have had people around me be in car crashes. So, it's a horrible experience with a lot of pain and a lot of, like, bad. But then there's a portion after the car crash where you're like, okay, I'm not dead. Cool. That kind of thing, right? Similar to that. My point is that it's both a horrible experience and a great experience at the same time. Like, how I feel about Twilight is both I ironically enjoy it and I unironically enjoy it. Like, I love this series for how, it's like how people love The Room. Like, people hate The Room, but they still watch it and they still laugh at it and they still go, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." Oh, hi, Mark. They still do that, right? And that's how I feel like the entire Twilight franchise is. Like, I've literally heard people repeatedly go, "Bella, where have you been, Loca?" I see it on t-shirts. I see it fucking everywhere. Everywhere. So, wow, it's, like, amazing and great. Whatever. Oh, I think that's a great part of being in fandom, is that you can both enjoy something while also simultaneously making fun of that thing, right? I mean, that's how I basically was when I was in the Undertale fandom, when I was, like, 10. I was 10 into the Undertale fandom. Yeah, it was hell on earth. So, it was good to, despite everything, it's still you, and still be like, oh my god, this is still a really great movie, and I still really, really like it. But, like, it's so good to just shit on it sometimes. Like, as much as I can sit here and be like, Star Trek The Next Generation is a great piece of Star Trek media, even though I have never experienced any other piece of Star Trek media other than bits and pieces of the original series from the 60s, and this, and when I mean bits and pieces, I mean, like, bits and pieces, like, little crumbs of content, like, it's so sad and pathetic. Anyways, so, it's just good to shit on things sometimes, even when it's something you enjoy. That's my point. That's how I feel. Anyways, let's talk about the characters I like. Obviously, Michael Sheen is hot, Odd V, which I think it's funny that this is the second time that I've ever had a crush on Michael Sheen in my entire life. I don't know what they're putting in Michael Sheen's water, so, Alice, I like Alice because she's hot. That's it. She's a good friend and she's hot. 3, I also really like Jasper, because Jasper's a cowboy. Cowboy vampire. That's what I want to be. A gay cowboy vampire. Gay as in, like, I want to be, like, a male gay vampire. There we go. Fixed it. Like, as much as I can sit here, like, okay, as much as I can sit here and be like, Team Edward, Team Jacob, if you asked me right now, at this very second, that the minute I'm recording this video, which is in, like, 1 p.m, if you told me right this fucking second, Team Edward or Team Jacob, I would prompt you with this. Personality, neither of them, because they're both garbage. Looks, Team Edward. But if I had to make up my own team for myself, Team Jasper. Or, if we wanted a team that actually fit with Bella and me, Team Alice. They were fruity as hell. Like, literally, watch the movies. They were so fucking fruity, it was ridiculous. Like, literally, Friend of Dorothy, fucking Subaru driver, fucking short nails, insert other lesbian stereotype here. It's ridiculous. Friend of Dorothy's is a male gay stereotype. Whatever, it still counts. So, fruity as hell. But I'm Team Jasper because I love Jasper. I love gay cowboy. He's great. I love male cowboy vampire thing. I love him. He's great. He had an interesting story. Even though in the first movie he looks like he's in pain and I feel bad for him, he gets hot in like Eclipse, and Eclipse is mostly just Jasper's movie from what I remember. Like, he teaches them how to fight newborns and battle scars. That's it. I don't remember anything else. And also he develops a southern accent in that movie. I don't know why he does, but he, like, does. I don't know. I didn't make the movies. I don't know. I didn't make them. So, yeah. I mean, that's basically how I feel about Twilight. My main takeaway is that enjoy the things you want to enjoy, but I think it's perfectly okay to make fun of them. Make fun of the things you enjoy. Even if you do and are an avid fan of them. Please make fun of it. It will make your job and life way more fucking easier. 2, Michael Sheen is hot. And adorable, and I love him. I don't know. He was cute as a Aziraphale. I loved him as a Aziraphale. Like, seriously, I was, like, borderline obsessed with him as a Aziraphale. It was great. Then again, I was obsessed with Crowley, too. So, if they put David Tennant in the Twilight series, I would have still been obsessed with David Tennant. That's the thing. If the more movies I watch with Michael Sheen or David Tennant in them, or, like, the more movies, more TV, more podcasts, whatever, the more pieces of media I consume with those two in it, I think the more I become obsessed with them. Like, I haven't watched Staged yet, but I want to so badly. But I won't. I will stand my ground. I am not falling for Michael Sheen again. Not again. Anyways, that's my main takeaway. Enjoy the things you want to enjoy, but it's okay to have some level of bullying and bullying of yourself or the media. Don't bully other people for enjoying things.
Science fiction, double feature, Dr. X.
So, you know Suicide Squad? So, how do I put this? In 2016, the first iteration of the Suicide Squad movie came out. And everyone took a look at the movie and went, oh, well, it sucks. So, don't watch it. And guess what? I didn't watch it. I took everyone else's word. Everyone else said it was shit. I took their word on it, and I believed them. So, this time, however, I hear, oh, they're making a new one. Oh, okay. It's probably going to be shit like it was last time. Then, the movie comes out, and everyone and their goddamn grandmother is telling me, oh, Ivan, you gotta watch it. It's really important that you watch this. I will literally murder my entire family if you don't watch this. Please go watch it right now. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay. And, I kept seeing clips online. I kept seeing fucking edits. And I'm like, oh my God, fine, I'll watch it. And so I did. I just got done. I have a few gripes. All of them not, like, major, but, still upset. Still very upset. Let's talk about the good things first, because literally my gripes are few and far between. But I loved it. It was a good movie, and I don't think I've ever experienced a movie in a long time that in the first 20 minutes, like in the first 30 minutes, I empathize with the characters already. I barely know jack about them. Polka Dot Man, he's got some weird parents. Ratcatcher girl. Shit, her dad's dead. Peacemaker, I don't know jack about him. Bloodsport, he's got a daughter. He went to prison for murder, I think. You know? That type of thing. Harley, everyone knows about Harley. You know. She needs no introduction, if you will. But that's the great thing. Literally, here are all my favorite characters in order. Everyone but Peacemaker. And the Weasel. I hate the Weasel. The Weasel just scares me. I dread editing this video. I hate the Weasel. I hate it. I hate looking at it. I hate breathing near it. I don't want to. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it how it looks. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Oh my god. Anyways. Well. I love Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man and King Shark are my favorites. I also like Ratcatcher too. But Polka Dot Man and King Shark are... King Shark. That's what I said. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. But I don't know. And I think this was like the first, like I had seen clips online, but I had seen none of Polka Dot Man. I only saw like edits with him, and even then I didn't even hear his voice. It was like very fast and very like, ooh. Some of them were kind of slow, and I got used to how his face looked, and I was like, oh, he's really cute. I really like how he looks. I'm like, you know, and I'm still obsessed with David Tennant. Like I would literally lay my life on the line for David Tennant. I would literally put my own body on railroad tracks if that meant I could meet him one day. Then I would lay my body in front of some railroad tracks if that meant I got to meet him. So, anyways. And then I heard his voice for the first time. He is the cutest voice in the history of ever.
It's just a rash. Everywhere. It's not. What is it? It's an interdimensional virus.
I love it. It is so cute, and I want to kiss him on the mouth. Love you, David. Oh, every time I say his name, every time I say the actor's name, I think about the story that I found out, like, literally, like, a couple weeks ago. David, the actor who plays Polka Dot Man, while they were filming, he found a stray cat, and he adopted that cat. I forget what the name of the cat was, but he bought the cat a little Polka Dot Man suit, and this is so fucking cute to me. I literally might start bawling my eyes out again. Literally, I was crying at the end of the movie. It hurt my eyes. It hurt my eyes so much. That's one of my, you know, I'll mention this gripe now because it irritates me so much. Polka Dot Man should have lived. He should have. He should have lived. I love him too much. He should have lived. You know what? We'll just get into the gripes now. I can't hold back, man. Peacemaker, I don't like that he lived to see towards the end of the movie. I don't like that. He should have died earlier. I don't like Peacemaker. This is a Peacemaker hate account. I hate him. He's stupid, and he's a stupid little man, and I don't like him. I hate him. He is stupid. He reminds me of Luther and my dad. Luther from Umbrella Academy. Yeah, he is so far up his own ass that he will literally kill men, women, and children in the name of freedom. Just saying, that sounds a bit familiar, if you ask me. I'm not going to say who. Just going to put it out there. Sounds a bit familiar, if you ask me. I don't like that Harley Quinn basically had plot armor through, like, pretty much all of the film. I never felt like she was in any sense of danger. Everyone else, I was like fearing for everyone's lives. I was like everyone's mom. I was pulling out the first aid kit, making sure everyone was okay. You know, especially King Shark. He's like my baby, and I need to protect him. I know he's a big shark man. I know that. But Bird, hand. He read book. He very smart. He's a very smart boy, and I love him. And I need to protect him with all my life. So, yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of my other gripes that I really had with the movie. I literally can't think of anything. Other than those three things. I liked pretty much everything else in the movie. This is just a gripe with the marketing. Why did they advertise Pete Davidson so much in the marketing? He's barely in it. He's in it for like a minute. And then that's it. Kind of bugs me a bit. I get it. Horny teenagers absolutely love him. I get that. I understand that. But is it necessary? Was it necessary? Like, I get, like, especially for that, like, splat hair dye promotion. Like, I get, having Polka Dot Man. I get having Bloodsport. I get having fucking Peacemaker. I get that. Because they were all, like, a main part of the movie. I get that. But Pete's character, I don't even remember his name. He was barely in it. Also, James Gunn, great director. Great movie. Granted, I don't really like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies that much, but holy shit, the gore in Suicide Squad is impeccable, and I love it. As a person who watches Dead Meat a little too much, seriously, I was like sitting there being analytical and shit, and I was like, that's pretty good. Tally mark. That one, I like the fact that he tore that man in half. That one, that's pretty nice if you ask me. Seriously, I just want to talk about him. I just want to talk about him so much. I'm serious. I can't literally put into words how deeply upset I am that, like, he was literally, literally queer. He was basically queer. And then they fucking murdered him. In front of our eyes. I'm upset. Like, Bloodsport, you couldn't have said something? I get it, he's having his little, I'm a superhero, like, I get it, he's having that. But, fuck. I don't know. The movie just, oddly enough, it reminded me of the Iron Giant. I can't explain that at all, but, like, in my heart, I just know it to be true, so therefore I'm right. Literally, I have no other gripes with the movie. I love the fucking direction. I love the raunchy jokes. Granted, I literally forgot about the FBI stuff, the government stuff. Granted, I did literally forget about that part, but that's whatever. That doesn't mean shit to me. Like, halfway through the film, because they hadn't brought it up. But that was, like, a great part of it. Literally, I don't know. This is going to be a really short video, but I really liked it. Polka Dot Man Supremacy. Good night to everyone except Peacemaker. Fuck him. He can die. I wish he did, especially earlier in the movie.